everybody, welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and another morning ramble. Guys, I've said before in some of these rambles, it's a Theodore Roosevelt quote that comparison is the thief of joy. Many of us have heard that. There's been times in my life, and a comment that Barb Newhouser left on one of our videos yesterday reminded me of a story of a very amazing young woman I know named Ella Mae, which points out that there are times when a comparison can be the detour sign to gratitude. Now, this isn't when we go, oh, well, compared to so-and-so, look how good I have it. That's kind of demeaning. But when we're in our problems, we're thinking about the problems we have, and this is consuming our minds and our thoughts and taking away our joy, but then we see someone who seems to have no problems, who is happy-go-free, but then we find out they have problems much bigger than our own. That really puts into perspective how small our problems can be, thus leading to that sense of gratitude. So let me read the comment that Barb left in our video, on our video yesterday of our family putting up our Christmas tree. Barb watched the video, she enjoyed it, and then she went on to talk about how last year was very tough for her. Barb lost who she called the love of her life, which was her sister, to cancer last year. Only 30 days after losing her sister to cancer, they found out that her brother-in-law, who had been married to her sister, also had cancer, and 4 months after that, he died. To make matters worse, rolling into the holidays, only 2 days before Christmas, Barb and her family buried her brother. So 2 days before Christmas, she lost, well, it was the funeral of her brother. Then 30 days after that, they lost her brother-in-law, who had already passed, his mother. So many losses in 6 months, Barb wrote. She said that at times she didn't think she was going to make it. But here she is. It's a year later. She's anxious to put up her tree, and she's getting better. She wished me and dearly my wife and our son Daniel a Merry Christmas, along with her grandson Michael. Barb, Merry Christmas to you and your grandson Michael. And if you'll look just behind my shoulder to the firewood pile, I pointed out that I'm holding up an umbrella to try to keep this phone from getting rained on. It's raining today. It's supposed to turn to snow at some point this week. There's my blue jay coming in. He sees me. He's coming in for his food. Well, perfect cue, because what I'm talking about back here is for the blue jay and his or her flock of friends, our free-range deer herd, mostly sired by Davy Crockett, that big 8-point buck who's always running around here, and who thus far is holding up to his end of the agreement not to destroy the trees I want to keep, and he's well on his way to getting his apple-flavored salt lick. But behind that wood pile, you'll see a little eastern red cedar tree that appears to have 2 golden bulbs hanging in it. That's because it does. Between now and Christmas, which is about a month away from yesterday, as of this recording, we're going to be dedicating some Christmas ornaments on this little wildlife refuge Christmas tree I'm making back here for our animals to some of our subscribers and people who inspire me, people who inspire these stories. So Barb, one of those 2 bulbs are for you and your grandson Michael and those close to you. And the other is for a girl named Ella Mae. Her story may be, along with Barb's story here, one of the most inspirational Christmas stories you'll ever hear. So here's who Ella Mae is, how it ties into me, and how it really led me to stop feeling so sorry for myself at times and see how grateful I really should be. The cover image of this video is an old picture that's relevant to this story, because that picture was taken right around the time this story starts. That's a picture of me and my wife dearly and our son Daniel from 4 years ago. Daniel was 3 years old, and as you can see from the little tiny Christmas tree there on our front porch, and take note of the laptop computer there playing. It was playing Christmas music, and it had the scene of a fireplace on it. That was the only fireplace we had back then. We now have a wood stove. But 4 years ago, it's Christmas season, and Dearly's childhood best friend Ella Mae comes to visit. Ella Mae would come by a couple times a year. She lived way out in the provinces where we used to live, and by this time we were living in the city, and we were a couple of years away from making it to the U.S., but we were getting closer. Ella Mae comes by. Ella Mae was always positive, happy, beautiful young girl, still is. She spoke to me. She speaks excellent English. She has an interesting family history. Her grandfather was an Englishman who expatriated to the Philippines somewhere around World War II, and ended up staying, fell in love with a beautiful Filipina lady, just never went back to England. There are 30,000 Americans over there living like that right now. So he stayed there, fell in love with a woman who would become Ellen Mae's grandmother. Ellen's mother was this man's daughter. So English was also spoken in her household growing up. So I always enjoyed seeing Ella Mae just because, I could really have a good conversation with her. She was happy, positive. She spoke to dearly in Visayan, the language in the southern Philippines, for some time. She left, and she asked me how I was doing at some point during this conversation, and I was just complaining because here it is, Christmas time, I'm in the Philippines again, I haven't seen snow in years, it's summer every day over here, I have some other people in my life that I haven't seen for quite a long time, and I miss them, and, I'm not going back to the U.S. until I can afford to take my wife dearly and Daniel with me. I'm not splitting up this family, but we're just not there yet, and oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me, and Ella Mae smiled, and she said, you'll get there, Kevin. Just stay positive. Just stay positive, and things will work out. Maybe not in your time, but in the right time. Just stay positive no matter what. And she left. So she left. I go into the house, and Dearly's in there crying, and I ask her, what's wrong? And she said she felt so bad for Ella Mae. Well, what's going on with Ella Mae? I just saw her. She's happy. She's positive. She's telling me that Ella Mae's mother died about 3 months before this. I didn't know, but Ellen Mae had lost her mother, so to cancer, ironically, and that just was why Barb Newhouser's story reminded me of this. So here we are heading into Christmas. I just saw Ellen Mae, and she was as positive and happy-go-lucky as she had ever been, and only 3 months before this, she'd lost her mother to cancer. Well, boy, did I stop feeling sorry for myself. And in this case, comparison, which Ellen Mae never said to me. She never said, oh, you don't realize how fortunate you are. My mom just died of cancer. Ellen Mae just said, well, just stay positive, be happy. Things will work out. In the time it's meant to, though, that might not be your time. And she left. That's all she said. But it caused me to kind of take a self-comparison and realize, wow, I really have a lot to be grateful for. So fast forward. I think the rain stopped, at least for now. So I'm going to ditch the umbrella. My hand's cold. And then point out those. There they are. One's for Barb Newhouser, one's for Ellen Mae, back in the Philippines. So another year goes by. We're living in the same house there in Davao City. Ellen Mae comes to visit. And I'm remembering the sequence of events because I have to get it right in order. Same thing as the year before. Ellen Mae is happy, positive, go-lucky, asking me how I'm doing. I say I'm fine, but... And then I start complaining again. I'm still in the Philippines. I want to be in the U.S. I miss snow. I miss certain people from my life I haven't seen in some time. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Ellen Mae goes in, hangs out with Dearly, comes out, leaves, tells me to be patient, be thankful, just be positive. Things will work out in time, though it might not be my time. I go in the house. Ellen Mae is crying. I'm sorry, not Ella Mae, but Dearly's crying, and she's crying for Ellen Mae. Turns out Ellen Mae's little sister, who was about 20 years old, had recently had a baby. She had a little girl, and the little girl spent 3 months in ICU, never left the hospital, and then she died. So here's Ellen Mae going into Christmas. The Christmas before, she'd lost her mother. This Christmas, she lost her little niece, who never left the hospital. And guys, I've shared this before in some of these videos. Family is the utmost important aspect of Filipino culture. So nieces and nephews sometimes are distant relatives to those of us in the West, especially in the U.S., but they're like brothers and sisters, or they're like your own children in the Philippines. So here's Ellen Mae yet again, just suffered another severe loss, and she is happy-go-lucky, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm with my wife, I'm with my son, we have our health, we have our happiness, and Ellen Mae woke me up. Her situation was the detour sign to gratitude for me that year. So the next year goes by. I'm a little bit happier because this is December, we're going into Christmas, and it would be just a couple of months after that I'm finally able to make it back to the U.S. So I'm a lot happy, but again, Ella Mae comes by and I'm complaining because, I'm still not in the U.S. I miss the snow, I miss certain people I still haven't seen in many years. I'm trying to keep on a good face for Ella Mae because I know the previous 2 years she'd gone through some loss. So who am I to feel sorry for myself compared to what she's gone through? She goes in, she talks to Dearly, she comes back out, she tells me, Kevin, you're going to get there, you're on your way, stay positive, things will happen in the time it's meant to happen. It might not be your time, but just stay happy, be positive, and things will work out. I go in, Dearly's crying again. Why is she crying this time? This time, the little sister of Ellen Mae who lost the baby the previous year, at 21 years old and in perfect health. No signs of illness. She was not obese or overweight. She was actually a very beautiful young girl. She died. Guys, this is a true story. This 21-year-old girl had heart failure and died at 21 years old and had no signs she was even unhealthy whatsoever. So here, Ella Mae, third year in a row, lost someone very close to her, and this time it was her little sister who the year before had lost her 3-month-old daughter who never left the hospital. Yet she was happy-go-lucky, she was positive, and she was encouraging me, who was feeling sorry for myself because I had to wait a few months to get back to the U.S. So, last Christmas came. I was happy, still of course, finding things to complain about. Certain people I'd hoped to be reconnected with once I got back here, I still haven't. So I'm with my beautiful bride, I'm with our darling son, we're healthy, we're happy, and I'm looking for the things, to feel bad about. And but I asked dearly, how's Ella Mae? Ella Mae's doing really good. Ella Mae has gotten married. Fortunately, Ella Mae didn't lose anybody that year, and Ella Mae was pregnant at the time, going into last Christmas. So now here we are, fast forward, we're going into this Christmas. I've come a long way in learning to be grateful for what I have and focusing on what I have, not on what I want. Focusing on what's gone right, not what's gone wrong. And a large part of this is coming up with that morning gratitude list I do every morning, thinking of all the things I'm grateful for. And this morning, as I was reading through the comments, I ran across Barb's comment. I was so grateful to be in the situation I'm in this year, here with my wife, my son. We're healthy, we're happy, we have a beautiful home, despite any other difficulties we might be going through, and everybody's always going through some form of difficulty. And so reading Barb's comment made me think back of Ella Mae. So I asked dearly this morning, how's Ella Mae? She said, Ella Mae is doing really good. Ella Mae is happier than I've known her to be in many, many years. She said Ella Mae and her husband had a baby this year. I said, really? How old is that baby? She said it's about 10 months old. And I said, so Ella Mae is celebrating this Christmas. This is her first Christmas with her husband and her new baby together. And my wife said yes. I said, are they all healthy? And she said yes. I said, are they happy? She said, of course. And again, she reiterated that Ella Mae was the happiest she's seen her in years. My point of this, guys, Barb has shown us with her comment, and Ella Mae shows us with her story, that despite our difficulties, we have so much more to be grateful for than we do not to be. Life does go on, and for a lot of people, the holidays can bring about feelings of sadness, depression, thinking about what they don't have, and I'm guilty just as anybody, as I mentioned in this story, of the times I've done it in the past, and I can get caught up in doing it today. But when we look at people like Barb, and when we look at people like Dearly's childhood best friend Ella Mae, the strength, the resolve, the ability to stay positive despite hardships, heartbreaks, and difficulties, especially going into the holiday season. And then we see the endings of the good endings of these stories. Like Ella Mae always said to me, this year Ella Mae has a beautiful young baby and a husband. Things work out in the time in which they're meant to work out. It might not be our time, but if we stay positive, if we stay happy, we stay away from the negative, we don't get caught up in the woe is me, feeling sorry for ourselves, we got a much better chance of making it. Okay, so guys, shout out again to Barb Newhouser. Thank you, Barb, for your comment. Big shout out to Ella Mae back in the Philippines if she ever sees this. We've started our Christmas tree back here for our feathered and furry friends back here on the refuge. This one's for Barb. That one's for Ella Mae. So I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful day. I know it's early as of the day of this recording, but I want to wish each and every single one of you a Merry Christmas. Here's a beautiful parting shot of our homestead. Make sure to join us for more next time from here at Homesteading Off the Grid.